Hello Disney fans, my name is Hailey and welcome back to the Disney Cupcake channel. Welcome to episode 5 of 6 of my Disney park ranking videos. Today I'm going to be ranking the Disneyland attractions, rides, or queues you actually get into and get on a ride vehicle. So like Tiki Room and like the shows and stuff like aren't considered attractions for this particular list. Please remember to subscribe to this channel down below because I still have to rank Disney's California Adventure, and also linked down below is all of my other Disney park ranking videos. A lot of people have been asking for this ranking, but before we get started, I need to mention the attractions I have not ridden yet. I've only been to Disneyland one time, so the list of attractions I have not ridden yet is Rise of the Resistance, Smuggler's Run. I have ridden Smuggler's Run at Disney's Hollywood Studios, but not at Disneyland, so if you'd like to see my thoughts on Smuggler's Run, I will have the Hollywood Studios video linked below. I know it's basically the same ride, but I won't include it in this list just because I haven't ridden it at that park. Gadget's Go Coaster, every time I went back to try to ride it, it was always down. King Arthur's Carousel, the Casey Jr. Circus Train, Dumbo, the Flying Elephant, and Mad Tea Party. Those are also at Disney World except for Casey Jr. Let's jump into the list because there's a lot of attractions at Disneyland. Starting off at number 23. 23, okay. Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. I rode this once. I have no connection to Roger Rabbit whatsoever. A little bit outdated. I do like dark rides though, so like it was cool to see. Fit Toontown very well, like enjoyed that part of it. But other than that, like wasn't too impressed. Number 22, Alice in Wonderland. I liked how it was both like inside and outside of the building, like you were on the roof at one point. I thought that was really cool. Personally, not an Alice in Wonderland fan. And a lot of the dark rides ended so abruptly or just really weird. And I'll get more into that in a second. Number 21, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I have no connection to Mr. Toad. It's another dark ride, which is fantastic, but it just ends so strange. Like, the ride, like, you know, it's going good and all of a sudden it's just like, it's over. I really like the ride vehicles though, and like the thought of Mr. Toad's really great. Like, love the classic vibe that Mr. Toad has. Just wasn't feeling it on the ride. Number 20, Pinocchio's Daring Journey. Same thing with this one. Literally the same thing with this one. Don't really have a connection to Pinocchio. The ride, again, it just ended really abruptly and I'm like, what? Number 19, Snow White's Scary Adventure. Same thing. It's the same thing. It's a dark ride that just ends. Like, I'm kind of sad that all the dark rides are at the bottom of the list because they really do hit different, but that is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I think I talked about this in another ranking video, how Winnie the Pooh, like the ride just like ends, like all of a sudden, oh, it's your birthday, and then it's just like done. It's like, what just happened? What? I really do like, though, compared to Disney World's, I think I like Disneyland's better just because you get to go outside. Number 17, Autotopia. Now, love the ride vehicles. I love how you also get the little like driver's license cards that like you don't have to pay for. They're free, which is great. I don't know if they still do that anymore, especially with everything going on right now. I mean, Disneyland's not open at the filming of this video, but I don't know if they'll still be giving them out whenever they reopen. Anyway, the ride just felt super slow to me compared to the one at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. It just seemed like really short and it just like, again, it just kind of like ended. I think that's just because of the space that Disneyland takes up. They really don't have room to like have the bigger track like Magic Kingdom does. So just a little too short for me. Number 16, the Astro Orbiter. Now this one was pretty high on my Magic Kingdom list just because I like the location of it. Now looking into Tomorrowland when you're on Main Street, like looking at the castle and you turn to Tomorrowland, seeing the rocket ship and all of the little Astro Orbiter like spaceships spinning around, it looks really cool, but when you're actually on it, it literally feels like you're flying like over Main Street, which is kind of weird, where at Disney World, yes, you can see the other lands, but it still feels like you're in Tomorrowland. Like, I feel like just with how small Disneyland is, the setup of it, I wish it was maybe a little bit farther back, although I really like feeling super close to the castle. That was just like a super random explanation, so we're gonna move on. Number 15, Star Tours The Adventure continues. Same thing as Hollywood Studios. It is kind of cool having it in Tomorrowland, but now that they have Galaxy's Edge, I'd rather ride something there than ride Star Tours. Number 14, Finding Nemo, The Submarine Voyage. I really like the thought of this one. I think being able to get into a submarine is really cool. I personally liked it, although it took a while to like load and unload, so you're kind of sitting there for a couple minutes, like, but I really liked the way that they were able to like project the characters into the tank. Like, there's not very many theme parks you can go to and like get into a submarine. Number 13, Peter Pan's Flight. One thing that I really remember from this, honestly, is how tiny the queue was. I don't know why I kind of applied that to this ranking. I just remember the queue being, like, super tight and really small, and that compared to Magic Kingdom just, like, blew my mind because the wait is always so long at Magic Kingdom, so that was kind of crazy. Number 12, the Storybook Canal boats. This is something I thought was really neat. It kind of reminded me of some videos I've seen from some of the international parks of like all these little models and things all around. It's something that none of the other US parks have, and I thought it was really cool to see all of the little models of the princess castles. Just a nice little relaxing ride. Number 11, the Disneyland Monorail. Now this was super weird. I didn't realize before I went that the monorail like wasn't like a super big thing that happened. It really only has like the 2 stops. Now I really like how it took like a nice big loop. You could see some of DCA and everything, but it was just kind of weird just being dropped right back off in Tomorrowland. I am definitely more used to the Walt Disney World monorail, being able to go all the different places. But with that said, it was cool having the monorail just in one park too. Okay, we're at the top 10, and I have to say the top 10 were really hard to do. They're literally all the classics, and it took me a minute to figure this one out. Number 10, I have Splash Mountain. And honestly, with this one, I kind of like the single seating in the logs compared to the double seating. I don't know why. Number 9, Pirates of the Caribbean. I really like how this is in New Orleans Square. I really like the theming like around it. The building is really cool, and walking in and like seeing the boats kind of immediately whenever you get into the actual building is neat. And I really like going through the Blue Bayou area. That was super different, and I really enjoyed that. Number 8, Jungle Cruise. To be honest, I really don't remember much of the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. I remember not liking it as much as Magic Kingdom's, although I'm kind of blanking, honestly, of like how it went. I do remember the jokes not being that funny, just with the skipper I had. I don't know. Number 7, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. Now the reason this one is so high is just because my family and I really like Space Ranger Spin at Magic Kingdom, so it's always just kind of been a thing that we always did. But the reason why it's so high up on the list is because the little triggers, the little guns, little blasters, whatever you want to call them, they actually work over in Disneyland, which I really wish they'd fix the ones at Disney World, just because it's frustrating when you don't get it like a ride vehicle that works to be able to interact and play with the attraction. So I really liked it, just that it worked. Number 6, the Matterhorn. I personally didn't like how rickety the attraction was. I did feel like I was gonna fall out at some points, but with that said, that also made it super thrilling how you were just like winding through, kind of crossing paths with other bobsleds, having a little bit of water splash you at the end. I don't know, it just had a vibe to it, and I really liked it. Number 5, It's a Small World. Generally, I like how this is outside. I really like how a lot of the things in California were outside versus Orlando where it rains all the time, so that is why we really can't do that over there. I just really liked like boarding outside, seeing all the topiaries, seeing it at night was super pretty, and then seeing the Disney characters throughout was really fun. Number 4, the Haunted Mansion. Same thing with this one. Really like how it's in New Orleans Square. I really like the vibe of that area, and being able to see just about the entire mansion versus Disney World where you're kind of below it, like you're entering through the basement, versus Disneyland. Thought that was a time. Thought it was super cool being able to basically walk through the doors of the mansion instead of the mountain underneath it. And Hatbox Ghost, of course. Number 3, Space Mountain. Again, this is weird, I liked the double seating on Space Mountain for this one, and this one was not as rickety as Magic Kingdom's over in Orlando. It was a lot smoother. I feel like I can enjoy it a little bit more, and that just made it really fun. Okay, top 2 were really hard to do, but my number 2, this could definitely flip with number 1 for sure, is Big Thunder Mountain. I really don't know like how Big Thunder Mountain ended up at the top of my list. I don't know. It's just hard to pick your favorite ride because, like I said, the top 10 I just went over, they're insane. They're so good. So, yes, number 2, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. The explosion scene was great, and the goat, yes, that is a thing, and I recommend doing it if you know that little secret. Number 1 may surprise some people, and many Disneyland people may be very mad at me, but Indiana Jones Adventure is my number 1. Now, I've always been a fan of Indiana Jones. I feel like it's a pretty underrated series. I like the dinosaur attraction at Hollywood Studios, so having that same ride system kind of throughout was really fun, and having that kind of ride in a Magic Kingdom park was just crazy to me. I really liked the way it fit into Adventureland and all of the theming. It didn't feel like I was at like Magic Kingdom. It's crazy, I know. It's insane. It is so insane. And that is my list for Disneyland. I would love to hear all of yours down below in the comments. I know many people have some Disneyland favorites, and I'd love to hear what yours is down below. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and remember to do what you love and do what makes you happy, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.